Alright, man, it's just getting wilder and wilder. I came home today from riding my bike, and I smelt the grass. I smelt that grass, and I took it in, and it felt great. But what is it? What is this? And I thought I was in a paradise. Then I went in talking. I talked to people, and what they're talking about is uninteresting. What's with that? Why am I so uninterested in what people have got to say? It's not like that for all people. It's just some people. Probably because, see, even when I talk, I'm uninterested in it. But when I'm not talking, I'm interested in wanting to talk. So it's like, no matter what, I'm wanting to express. And once I express, it's like I'm just another one of those people that are expressing about ridiculous stuff. And by ridiculous, that just means strange. Like, I don't even know any of these people. Any of them. Especially this one that I'm in right here. This one that I'm staring at. Like, I'm trying to look at the surface of this phone. And the wind blows by. And the music playing, the music that everybody is producing, the art that everybody is producing, the judgments that everybody is producing. They're affecting you. You're being affected. Infected. You're being infected by everybody. No matter what. But the main thing you're being infected by is your own perception. Your own perception is what is the most infecting. And it's also the most affecting to you because it's your perception. And it's going to affect you. Like, I was looking at the ground, like how I always do. How beautiful it is. Oh my god. How beautiful this floor is. And then I thought, or that circumstance brought me into, attracted a thought, because that's what happens. The circumstance attracts thoughts of, I'll never make art that good. So why do I matter? And I hear people talking about talking about how their art sucks and all da 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 da. But I always tell them, who's judging? Who's judging? You were judging, and you could judge it to be anywhere. Anyway, I sit there zoning out on whatever's happening. And I just think this needs to be filmed. This needs to be filmed. But nobody will understand it. Nobody will understand it. Besides me. Now, that's the thing. That's what the art is. It's trying to explain your perspective, your perception. You're writing down. You're writing something down. You are talking, expressing. Why do we need that? Why do we need that? Can't we just focus on science and building stuff and helping the world? Because it helps the world. The art helps the world because it's brainwashing, alright? You're gonna be an artist, you don't know what you signed in for. Alright? You're gonna be like a visual, illustrator. You know what you signed in for. What did you sign in for? And did you ever really sign in? I guess. You signed in. You signed into that thought, that wave. You turn that vibe into a frequency. But even like books and stuff, like, I don't even want to listen to what they have to say. I'm like, I look at people. I was looking at people, and each person I saw, I could see their entire life and their story, and it reminded me of whenever I was a little kid. It's what my family would do. They would say, they would point at people, like my granny, she'd be like, people watching, and you point at people and you think about them, thinking what they could be going through, what they could be doing, what they could be saying. And people do that with animals as well. Like you look at animals, you personify them, you see them from your experience, try to step into their shoes. Speaking of step into their shoes, I'm taking this off. I'm taking this off. I just want to cough out all those freaky weirdnesses that I used to be about. But it evolved into this. And this is just pure bliss. I don't even think I'm at that high level of consciousness. I think I'm just a frog riveting about, following the route of the river, looking for a sliver of insect, looking for an aspect of infinity to dissect. I'm trying to direct my attention into one point, but I just don't get the point when I can just see what happens. Be brainwashed by the river, by the flow, because that's all that I've ever known. In the art, it bled in. I listened to music. It made me know how to be. I watched TV and it showed me a new way to see. Cultural programming. Listened to rap whenever I was in middle school, and now I'm poetry slamming. More like stammering. My dad was a carpenter, and now I'm hammering myself into a cross, sacrificing myself over these devices, over these vices. This current of this art, this current of this line, this current of this river, it flows so divine, rip out the vine, swing along the trees, grab a mango, go a little slow, evoke the power of the sloth, always entranced by the lights. I'm being provoked by the power of the moth. Where will this language bring me? Where will it bring me? After I continue to sing me through it, this is how I use it. I'm not even being careful what words that I choose it, because I have no desire of I've got the perfect reality. I just gotta make sure not to abuse it. Culture, society, why am I still accusing it? What are you, a victim? What are you, a victim? Victim? That mango, I licked him. But it took so long. It took so long. So much time. That I could have been using to sing a song. Waiting all day to do. Because it's a place where two becomes one. I see that what's out is the sun. You forget that everything you did was just for fun. Work has got you caught up in a definition that you need permission to play. to make, to create, to enjoy your day. But you can just be, because you are the goddess. You don't even have to be modest. You're playing in an ego. Oh, no. It was over here. You're playing in an ego. Here we go. Into the other dimension. Did I mention? It wasn't even other. It wasn't even other. It was a place. It was a state. It was a location in the brain. Every other realm you visited was the same. It was vain. You loved it. You enjoyed it. You enjoyed the experience. And this goes in. This goes in to what I was saying. I don't even got the drum out here. I don't even got the drum out here. No, I don't do that. I don't do that. No, I do that. I do that. I do that. How I see the movie of my life. I see it and I think this needs to be seen by others. Because it's so great. It's so beautiful. Not enough people have experienced me. Have experienced this. Now, was the art deliberately programming? I think there's clouds covering the sun. Was the art deliberately programming? No. Well, yeah. That's what experience is. It's learning. It's learning. It's brainwashing. Brainwashing? No. That's what I'm doing to you. Right now. I am brainwashing you. Everything you believe needs to be cleansed. Cleanse it. Wash it away. And see things for how they are. I can't even say it. I can't even say that. I can't even say any of that. Because it's not how things are. But anyway, that anything is, anyway, is how it is. That's just the biz. That's showbiz. That's performance. Performance. Mince. Dice. Vice, device, rice. Current, concurrent, learned, occurrence. No, they were just expressing themselves. That's all that was happening. They felt the same way I do. They express themselves. It's a cycle. It's a cycle. It's fractals. That's all it is. You don't have to feel traumatized by your life because your life is great. Like, I'm in a paradise. You're in a paradise. I heard someone saying this was the lowest dimension that you could be in. And that's crazy. Because there's bliss here. There's bliss. But it's also super crazy. And I often feel crazy. And I look at the face of a baby. And I look at the face of a granny who said, the reason you feel pain in life is so you know what hell will be like. That's amazing. It's just that there's no difference between that. I mean, it's not afterlife. There's no afterlife. There's after this life. What you choose to produce and leave behind. Like this right here. This is what I'm leaving behind. Judge the quality. Judge the quality, because I'm not. No, I am. I'm judging the quality. I'm saying, oh no, this is not good. But hey, anything is okay. Things can be any way. It can be any way. You're only creating from what you've experienced. Now break out of your experience and see that you are eternity. Life is eternal. You never die. You never die. Whether I'm speaking on the soul, the spirit, or the ego. None of them die. None of them. Of course, the soul, it moves back and forth through perspectives, like we're flipping the channel, typing away, in and out and all around, circle of life, samsara. I just want to say that this right here is beautiful, and it's entrancing me. Circle of life, that's what the soul does, and then we've got the spirit. The spirit is that force that animates everything. How can the spirit die? The soul lives on through different lives. It's like different. See, spirit kind of goes into soul, and then the soul, the spirit is the leaves, the birds, the bees, the trees, and then the soul is what goes into the ego, the being, to the vessel. And the soul is the art. Whatever. It came from somewhere else, and now it's here. Here in this ego, here perceiving, experiencing. But here's the crazy thing. That I realized lately. I didn't realize it. It just kind of popped into the field of awareness. The ego never dies. Everybody out here trying to have an ego death. ego never does. I'm trying to see if the sun is out. Oh no, it's not. Well, it is. The sun is always out. The sun is always out no matter what. That's what this light. That's the light that is occurring. Is the light of the sun. You wouldn't be able to see without it. You wouldn't be able to perceive. So you're always sun gazing. That's another crazy thing. You don't have to. You even have to go outside, because inside, if you're able to see, there is light from the sun. And I get in the light from the sun. There's ideas out there that is, the false light. That's what creates this illusion. Of course it's what creates the illusion. Or is it the eye that perceives it? Or is the sun existing in the first place what made the earth able to exist, because it gave it energy, and it gave it something to float around? Or for it to go around. Whichever way you may look at it, but it's always a circle. It's always going around. Now, yeah, sure, it's an illusion. But it's a beautiful illusion. And that's the deal. That's the deal with circle back to the beginning of this stream of consciousness, of stream of sleep, stream of blabbering. Was the topic of how I want to record my life, how I want to record my experience, and see it, and who is that for? Is that really for other people, or is it just for me? Is it just just for this perception? Was it for your enjoyment, or was it for other people? But see, thinking like that is ridiculous, because it's not going to get you anywhere. It's just going to make you feel bad. It's just going to make this vessel feel bad, because or does it? It doesn't have to. I mean, it does for me for some reason, but it doesn't have to. Is the thing. That can be changed. That can be transmuted. That can be transformed. That perception is a perception given to you by a past belief. A past belief about the ego. But now that you know that the ego is the soul, you can, that's the conception. That's the conception, is that the ego is the soul, and you live on. But the soul can have experiences that are, but yeah. The thought was, what was the thought? Oh yeah, they're just floating around. They're just floating around this is the visualization here. Thoughts just circling. Yeah. Thoughts just circling. attracted to me based upon my frequency, and they are leaving me as I drift into a new zone. But they're calling me back. And they say, yo, film these ants. That's the real star of the show. Anyways, what do you know? You know everything. Why am I telling you anything? You're under the impression that it's okay because everyone else is you, but they seem so different, and so you're only recording for yourself, and you think, and as you listen to this, you think that this being is going around, isn't really going anywhere with this, but it completely all correlates to the point of the false light, the sun, the illusion, your perception. The illusion creates your perception. You are the illusion because the illusion created you. You created yourself because you are the illusion. You are the light. The earth is the sun. The sun is all of the stars. And you're attached. That's the word. Attached. Document. You're attached to your point of view, so you document it. No matter how ridiculous it is. But it's not ridiculous. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. Could be doing art right now, but I'm focusing. Surprisingly. You would never know. I'm focusing. Now, who is it that... Now, it's the ego that feels separate. But where does the ego come from? Okay, I was going to explain why the ego never dies. Because it's the ego that has the experience of the soul, and so it never... Nothing ever dies in its perception, and that's its reality, and there's nothing outside of its reality. Because its reality is your reality. So earlier, I was looking at someone right now. It's like, whoa, I know this person. I know that. And people look at disassociation as a bad thing, but it's helpful. It's a good philosophy. That's right, I said philosophy. Alien. The whole idea of the soul and the whole idea of aliens, if you're living in the soul, or if you're living in as an alien, it's the same thing. Because you're from somewhere else. You're separate from all this. You know, but if you're living in the ego, you would be saying that this is separate from all this. Saying is that this voice, not this voice itself, because this is a language, but the meaning behind it is separate from this. It's just experience of this. Is not this. Is not any of this. Is nothing. Absolutely nothing. I am nothing. I am everything. Now, what's next? Just